Hello everybody. Today we're going to see how I draw Maleficent. Okay, pencils first and then Sharpie. So if you don't want to watch the pencil portion of the video where I sketch the entire thing out, look in the description and you'll see a link you can click on, a timestamp, that will take you to the Sharpie portion of the video. There's also one for color. So for those of you that are going to stick around, I'm going to start off with a quick sketch for myself and get us going. Alright, so I know where I want to go with this, and this one should be fairly easy because it's mostly the dress, and I just have to make sure I do what I want to do, and that's pretty much going to be it. Also, now that I think about it, I need to plan for not falling off this page because I got an idea where I want to go with this, but I got to make sure my plans come to fruition. Fruition. I'm hungry. Alright, so this is not too bad. I kind of have her, let's see, it's kind of at an angle. So let me decide what I'm going to do. Okay, so we'll stick this arm up. We'll have this arm holding her staff, right? So the elbow's right about there. This one up. You know, I guess they'll both be up. You know, kind of casting a spell, kind of showing off her witchy powers, you know? Let's see. And here, okay, so here, let me talk to you about this. Here's the trick of trying to make look like somebody has something in their hand. I see people do this all the time, and I'm guilty of it, but let's address it now since we're talking about stuff. When you're holding something, your hand isn't closed. We have a tendency to draw a closed hand, but if you're holding something like this, see, your hand's not closed. You see through it. Your knuckles or your fingers are around it. So this is a little too big. It's just a poster tube. But that's the point I'm trying to get at is she doesn't have to have her hand covered up or closed completely. So I'm going to try to draw this so her fingers are like I just did, kind of out, holding the staff. And let's see, we'll do something like that, and that'll kind of do that, right? Something like that. Does that make sense? There, so that way, yeah, I like that a lot. So that way it's like she's holding something. It's not just a closed fist, you know. Just keep that in mind whenever you do your drawings, that you should think about the placement and what happens with the stuff we do. So I'm just trying to play around with some folds and fun with her I want to say her wings, but they're not. They're her dress, but they kind of flow out, right? I want them kind of billowing out, you know. That was one of the great things about some of the animation from Disney a long time ago, when they would do stuff like throw your hands out and whatnot, especially in these kind of poses, or the demon from Night on Bolt Mountain, you know, those kind of things. That the flow of the movement, you know, whether it be the dress or, you know, the wings or stuff like that, would look so amazing. You know, they knew what they were doing with that hand animation. So it's really neat to go back and look at that stuff and see what they did, because they knew what they were doing. All right, I like this. Oops, that's too long. Okay. All right. So I'm trying to just come up with just a hand out, you know, like she threw it out in power in a magic spell or something, you know. And something like that with her like I said, I want to call them wings, but they're not wings, right? Her dress. There, I like it like really extended out too. All right, not too bad, not too bad. Okay, so now I have to, let's see, her shoulder would be right there. Come down to here where her long neck is going to be. Okay, something like that. Oh, you know what? Let's draw the collar before I forget, because I want it to be, well, it has to be like very predominant, you know. Something like that. And then another one down like that. Yeah, I like that. I think that'll work. All right, so now let's work on her pretty face. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Okay, not bad, not bad. I'm going to erase a lot of these lines too, because once we start working with the Sharpie, I don't want them to stand out and be too predominant. You know, I want the Sharpie to take full stage. Okay. And this is going to be a little tricky because her face is really tiny. So there's only so much detail I can put in here with this tiny Sharpies. So I have to be very careful about where I'm going with this. Or not where I'm going, but how much detail I'm going to put in this. Because I want to put in a lot, but I can't, or it'll disappear. Alright, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. My eye's a little high. Lower this one down too. Something like that. Alright, I like that. Like that. So now I can just finish up the top of the head like this. And bring the horns in like this. Alright, so I guess the big question is going to be here is, what are we going to do for the horns? Like, I know it's like wrapped all around her head and all that stuff, but again, I think that's too tiny for detail. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. I think we're just going to be able to do an outline, then come back with detail. And for the most part, it's all black in color anyway. But I'm going to have to do the rest in color, you know? So I think that's good. I'm happy with that. Let me erase some of these lines, and then we will... Oh, no. Look what I just did. I'm going to have to erase a lot of lines now. Then I'm going to come back with the Sharpie and redraw this. Uh-oh, the paper's moving. The paper's moving. All right. And let it stand out with the Sharpie. Luckily, I can see what I did. I just have to hide some of those eraser marks I just did. I don't know what happened to my eraser here. I guess it's time to clean my eraser. Okay. Wow, everything's going wrong today. The paper's moving. Dogs are barking at me. Children laughing at my haircut. What am I going to do? All right, so let's go. It's Sharpie time. I'm going to be using a Sharpie fine point and a Sharpie pen. Mostly the Sharpie fine point, but the Sharpie pen for finer details that I can't control with the Sharpie fine point. So, like the face. Let's work on the face here. So, I'm going to go straight to the eyes and see what happens here. I'm going to draw the top of the lids and go from here. All right, I'm going to turn on another light here real fast. There we go. All right. Okay, so I'm going to draw the top of the lids like that. One is a little higher than the other, so I guess our head's going to be tilted a little bit. So let me compensate for that. Okay. Then draw some iris like that. Uh-oh, my picture disappeared. And some of the pupil. And because these are so small, like I said, there's not a lot I can add in detail. I'm going to try, but like the under part of the eye, I'm not going to add. I'm just going to kind of come in with the bottom edge right here and do something like this and kind of insinuate, or not insinuate, but imply that the iris right there is hitting the edge of the bottom of the eye. So that way I don't have to worry about drawing too much on there and not worrying about it bleeding. Okay, so I'm trying to give her a little bit of little cat eye makeup to have something in there, you know? Okay, so now I'm gonna draw the eyebrow. Draw another one like that. Okay. And I'm going to draw just a little bit of the nose to the bridge, not much, just going to bring it down like this, just kind of imply a little bit like I was saying, because I can only draw so much of the detail before it starts to bleed. So there, that's all I can do for the nose. That's about it. Okay, so now I'm going to go straight for the mouth. Like that. So I gave plenty of room for the top lip. I'm going to come down here and do the bottom lip. All right, I like where we're going with this. So now we're going to do the jaw, or the chin, I guess. Then I'm going to work up to the jaw, okay? So, remember, she's got those exaggerated cheekbones and jawline. So it's okay to come back in a little bit and have them stand out like that, that little, you know, it's like I said, it's more exaggerated than anything else. So don't feel bad if it's like, ooh, that's a little too much. But that's what we're doing for Maleficent, you know. There we go. Like that. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, and so I'm going to make the point come up like this. And I'm drawing this first just to kind of give me an idea of how high I need to go before I go too far with that, because here I was just going to start going up that way and that was too much, you know. All right, I like that. I'm happy with where we are. So I think I'm going to switch over to the big Sharpie now, because I've done all I can do with the tiny Sharpie, or all I want to do with the tiny Sharpie. I'm going to move on to the big Sharpie. So I think I will. I'm going to add some layers to the horns. Just a little bit, okay? Just to give you something, just to have a little fun. That's why we're here, right? So I'm gonna just draw her head with understanding where the horns are gonna be, and then draw like the jaggedy on the horns. And I'll show you why. Watch, we're gonna do this just a little bit like that, not too much. Come back around the other side. Something like that. Do the same thing over here. Again, not too much, because then it's just going to look like we're just shaky hands, like we had too much soda today. Okay, and so since I did that, I'm just going to go ahead and do just a little bit of wraps, just something like this, just to accent those bumps that we did. And it's going to be all colored in black anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. But I did want to add a few just to have some fun. That's why we're here, right? Okay. All right, and again, I'm not going to worry about the wrap on her head. That's just a little bit of overkill that we can't do right now. Okay, so let's see if I can do. I'm going to start with the collar and play with that for a little bit. That way I know it's going to be right here. That way I know where my start points are, okay? So I'm going to come over here and do something like this. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to stop right there because I forgot. I got to do the neck. Let me do some of that. And we'll close that off like that. And then this is going to disappear back behind where the collar cuts off. Let's go ahead and do this side too. So I'm going to do the same thing, just something a little fun, a little exaggerated, something like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do the inside as well, like that. So there we go. All right, and so now we're pretty much just going to draw the costume with drapes, you know, with the material all going down. So I'm going to draw her shoulder like this. I'm going to go ahead and draw the bottom part too, because even though it's connected to the costume, I need it accented like that. Okay, I'll do the same thing over here, just something like this, and then I'll come back and do the hand in a second. I'm just going to go ahead and finish up what I was doing here. And so I'm kind of following my sketch to guide me as to where some of this stuff is going to be. And it's probably too much, but you know what? This is how I draw. This is how I'm having fun. All right, something like that. Okay, so now I'm going to do her hands. And her hands, like I said, I'm just going to kind of have out because she's kind of casting a spell, kind of say, check me out. And so this part of the shirt, the sleeve, I'm sorry, is over this part of the hand. So we're not drawing the wrist. It's covered up a little bit, okay? So I'm going to go straight into the thumb, into the hand, or the meat of the hand. So same thing, it's going to be about right there, because like I said, remember, that's all covered up in the wrist. So I'm going to draw her pinky out like this. I'm going to draw her ring finger like that. I'm going to draw her middle finger, and then the index finger. Okay? And there we go. So let's see, and she does have some nails. Let's see if we can do something, add a little bit of a point, just to kind of define a little bit, you know. Something like that. A little bit of what do you call it? Hand lines. Just to give us some definition, just to have some fun, you know. All right, so here we go with this hand. Like I was talking about, this hand is the one that's holding something, so the fingers aren't quite touching. So I'm going to draw the thumb overlapped over all of it, like that. Then this finger is around. Oops, that's a big finger. That shouldn't have happened, but I'm going to make it work. There, see, I used the Sharpie. I used the Sharpie's fatness to hide where it bled over itself, like that. All right, and let's see if we can add a little bit of fingernail there too. Maybe that'll help hide some stuff. Okay, there we go. Thumb, you can't quite see it. All right, so now we're going to draw her little staff. Let's see. I'm just going to draw the edges. I got kind of a raised staff, like that. Oops. Okay, and I'm just having some fun, just playing around with some lines and wrinkles. Again, a lot of this is going to be all black. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to figure out some fun stuff to do with color, because a lot of it's just going to be all blackety black. Okay. All right. I love it. Okay, so let's draw the dress, and then we'll draw the wings all kind of flapped out. They're not wings, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm just going to draw it just kind of hanging out like this. And this is pretty much the main layer, and then the rest I'm going to have kind of off of it. So I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do something like this. do something else like this. And then I'll do some of these branched off like that. So see how I got it kind of flowing out? Something like that. And then there is like a little middle connector part that's, you know, where the dress has seams and elegance, you know, that's the best way to put it. Try to connect it all like that so it's not so ugly of where this big fat Sharpie just hit itself over and over again. Big old fat Sharpie being all blobbity. Right. Okay, I'm gonna take care of that with color. There. Okay, so now let's just do her sleeves real fast. And again, I got them kind of flowed out, so I'm gonna kind of do something like this, as if she just threw her arms out. Something like that. I come in here with one of these. Kind of do that side like that. All right, so another one over here. Gonna flow it. Something like that. All right, I love it. I love it. All right. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. I say we take care of the rest with color. So that is Maleficent. So here is my colored version. You could do it however you like. I just thought I'd show you how I decided to color it. If you'd like to color it like this, you can always pause the video here and use the coloring techniques that I used, or you can just make it your own. Remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures of how I draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button to be updated about each new video.